This is quite a long one, so bear with me. Hi, I'm a frustrated artist. 1, I am too literal and too tight in my work. 2, I'm a mother of 2 young boys who need my time. 3, I have to earn to keep our heads above water. 4, I have far too many interests, so don't focus on any. 5, I'm prone to depression, which robs me of energy to do anything a lot of the time. Do you have a magic wand? No. Because if I did, I would need it about now myself. Because I feel a bit uninspired, a bit flat. Yeah, I don't have 2 kids, but I have 5 cats, so does that count? I've got my fingers in so many things that it's hard to stay focused. So I hear what you're saying. Okay. And then she goes on to say, or maybe I'm not a true artist. It does not consume me as it does many others, though. If I go too long without creating, I get edgy and uncomfortable. Anyway, that above, using you as an ear that might just wonder, that just understands where I'm at. So this is why I'm sending you an email, I'm not posting. I love your stuff, your creative process and the results, and your energy, enthusiasm and delight in sharing. Always an engaging trait, which is so evident. In your videos, just commenting on what you do is one thing. You do inspire. I just want to rush off and do some work after watching your vid. But I think that a point you don't seem to address as much is what makes you do what you do. What urges you to get that translation into your work? Most of those urges are, I know, incoherent, which is why they express as art in a lot of people. But although analysing what the urges stem from is perhaps not a very useful exercise, unless you're into psychoanalysis, perhaps you can focus a bit on why the feelings express as they do. No, that's not what I mean. I mean more. How do you channel them so they end up as art? My husband's late uncle, Larry Scully, is a very well-known artist in South Africa. I often tried to puzzle out what he was doing with what he felt to arrive at what he produced. There is definitely some craftsmanly pride in it. He worked with a lot of care to produce lovely stuff. But that doesn't explain the imagery, nor why it speaks to people, or how. Your stuff made me think of him for some reason. So what makes you scratch down and then spray? Why scratch this shape? Why start with those 2 lovely shaded teal blobs in just those places? Why do you pick a particular stencil to work with? Is it mood related? Do you set out to express some incoherent energy? Or do you decide just to experiment with a medium and see where it takes you? How do you let it lead you and not try to force it? Or do you push it in the direction you want? Well, they're all really good questions. And I guess to answer you, the simplest way that I know is I try not to think about it too much. I try not to overanalyze it. When I come to the studio, when I first started creating, I was led by my moods, as in I had to be in the mood to paint. I had to, I was led by my emotions. But after a couple of years, I've trained my brain now where I don't actually work like that anymore. I can come to the studio at any time I want and produce work of a consistent level. I guess, why do I produce what I produce? Well, that stems back from my interest of printmaking. I've always loved printmaking. Can't afford a press, can't afford all the setup involved. I don't have the space, so that's why I started using stencils. So it was that need that I needed to try and replicate a printing process that was inexpensive. I started doing that, and the imagery, well, I want to pay homage to past artists, Michelangelo. That's why I did a whole series on Mona Lisa, just because I sort of wanted to pay my respects and my homage to the artists that had been before. I like to use religious iconography. That's why I started using the Jesus stencil, that sort of thing. So, you know, they just things that interest me, and so I just made some stencils, carved them out, and started layering them down. Like I said, I don't think about it too much when I'm actually creating the artwork. Think less, do more. I try and switch off the analytical side of my brain until pretty much I think I'm getting close to the end. I let my intuition run, and then I'll stop it, and then I'll come back and go, alright, analytically, does that work? Does that really work there? And then you start looking at composition, balance, harmony, repetition, energy, all of those sort of elements, to sort of fine-tune the creative flow. And, you know, some pieces work more successfully than others, but the more you do, the more you learn, and I think after a while it just becomes intuitive that you know what imagery is going to work together, you know what colour combinations are going to work successfully. And it's something that you have to teach yourself. So the more you do, the more experienced you become, and it just becomes intuitive. So, you know, I'm at the point now where I'm always trying to push my boundaries and try new mediums, try new ideas, because I don't want to get stuck. And it may just be, I just get an idea by looking at another artist, and all of a sudden I'll just think, oh, I've got to try that, but I've got to do it, I've got to make it my own. So for example, I saw an artist the other day that started using push pins to create a portrait, and I thought, oh wow, I've wanted to do that, why didn't I try that? So, you haven't seen it yet, but that's what I've started. I'm doing a self-portrait but I'm using thumbtacks. 2,400 thumbtacks of different colours. I've done about 1/3 of it, so it's going to take me a while, but you will see the results, hopefully in a couple of weeks. But it's something different, something fun, and I thought, why not give it a go? So I think hopefully I've answered most of your questions. You just got to let yourself go and go with it, and try not to focus on outcome. That's another thing. Don't focus on the result. If you think about what it's going to be before it becomes something, then you're putting too much pressure on yourself, and you don't want to do that. Just let your creative genius have the run. Just don't question colour combinations, don't question anything until you get to the end, and then you think about it and then go, oh yeah, well, that colour needs to be tweaked a little bit. You know, they say painting, you don't need to think about painting. Painting is a series of reactions. You take a step and then you react to that. You take another step and then you react to that again. And that's what it is. Painting is a series of reactions. And then you react all the way until you get to the end where you don't have a strong reaction about adding something else, and then you sort of know that it's finished. Yep. So hopefully I've answered that. I know you go on to give me some criticisms, about looking off camera to the left and that sort of thing, but I know all this. I know it all. I guess I sort of trying to improve. So, you know, thanks for all that. But, yeah, they're my two questions. I've probably gone over time, but, thanks.